Pythagoras' theorem involves the three sides of a right-angled triangle. If we place squares in each of the three sides, it's found that the two smaller squares will fit into the larger square. That means the area of the two smaller squares added together to make up the area of the larger square. If we label the three sides length A, length B and length C, the area of each of the squares will be A times A, B times B and C times C. And we've just shown that A squared equals B squared plus C squared. That's the area A squared equals area B squared plus area C squared. That's Pythagoras' theorem. Here it is summarised. The largest side is opposite the largest angle, the 90-degree angle. It's called the hypotenuse. Labelled A, we can memorise Pythagoras' theorem as A squared equals B squared plus C squared. So if we know two sides of a right-angled triangle, we can work out the third side. Here A is a hypotenuse opposite the right angle. A squared equals 8 squared plus 6 squared. There's Pythagoras' theorem as we memorise it. There's an equation, A squared equals 8 squared plus 6 squared. Follow it through, 8 8s, 6 6s, add them together. A squared is 100. That means a square on side A would have area 100. If A squared is 100, to find A, you square root 100. And it's exactly 10. 6, 8 and 10 were the three sides. Triangles like that, which have three whole number sides, are called Pythagorean triples. So that's right-angled triangles with whole number sides, Pythagorean triples. Usually you don't get an exact answer, so here the hypotenuse W is opposite the right angle. W squared equals 12 squared plus 7 squared. 12 12s, 7 7s, follow it through. W is the square root of 193. Answer from the calculator. It will not give you an exact answer. You round it off. In this case, to one decimal place, it's 13.9. W is approximately equal to 13.9. So, to work out the hypotenuse, square and add. If you work out a shorter side, in this case, hypotenuse is 10, opposite the right angle. We want a shorter side here, labelled B. B squared plus 6 squared makes up the 10 squared. Take 6 squared off each side, and we've solved that B squared is equal to 10 squared minus 6 squared. 10 10s, 6 6s, follow it through, B's 8. If you want a shorter side, you could memorise that as square and subtract, and you can skip the first line. So that's for a shorter side, square and subtract. Usually you don't get an exact answer. In this case, P squared plus 7 squared makes up the 15 squared, because 15 is the hypotenuse opposite the right angle. Take 7 squared off both sides and you've solved for P squared. If you remember, for a shorter side, square and subtract, we can skip the first line. 15 15s, 7 7s, follow it through. P is the square root of 176. Answer off the calculator and round it. P is approximately 13.3. So for a hypotenuse, square and add. For a shorter side, square and subtract. This is part of a worksheet which you can download using the link in the description, or you can freeze the video. The answers will work out exactly, you won't need to round. Here's the second part of that worksheet. This time you'll need to round the answers. And here are the answers. These are all Pythagorean triples because They're right angle triangles where the sides are all whole numbers. And the second part of the sheet, these are the answers. This is an isosceles triangle. It has two equal sides. We want to calculate the area. That's half the base times the height, but we don't know the height. Now at first, it doesn't seem to involve Pythagoras' theorem because there's no right angle. However, if we draw the height in, it makes a right angle with the base. The base is halved. And we've got a right angle triangle where the hypotenuse is 13. H is a smaller side, so we square and subtract when we use Pythagoras. There's the working. H squared equals 13 squared minus 5 squared. 13 13s, 5 5s. Follow it through, the height's 12. And now the area, half the base times the height, can be calculated. There's the working. The area is 60 square units. The second worksheet can be downloaded with the answers, or you can freeze the video. There are the answers. So the base here, 18, was half to 9. Unknown height, h. H squared equals 15 squared minus 9 squared. Follow it through, the height's 12. Area, half base, times height, 18 times 12 and a half is 108 square units. Right angle triangles can appear in other shapes. A rectangle has right angles at the corners. If you draw in a diagonal, we have a right angle triangle. Pythagoras will apply. Square is also a rectangle. This triangle has two equal sides. It's a right angled isosceles triangle. If you draw in the diagonals of a square, they will half each other at 90 degrees and we get a right angled triangle. Kites, draw the diagonals in, they make a right angle. One of the diagonals is halved. We've got two different sizes of right angled triangles. Similarly, a V-kite, one diagonal is extended to meet the other, making a right angle. One diagonal is halved. We've got two different sizes of right angled triangle. A rhombus is a kite. The diagonals half each other at 90 degrees. And we get a right angled triangle. We can apply Pythagoras. If we know two sides, we can work out the third. Here's a worksheet which you can download with the answers, or you can freeze the video. You have to work out the value of the letters. Here's the second part of that worksheet. And here are the answers. This is a second worksheet on shapes which you can download or freeze the video, work out the value of the letters. Here's the second part of that same worksheet. In this case, you have to round the answers to one decimal place. And here are the answers. Notice these are exact answers, no roundings required. So a reminder, the worksheets, that's the first one. That's the second one. And that's the third one. It can be downloaded off the internet by using a link in the description. There are also a set of notes for the videos, which can be downloaded using the same link. That's the end of the first video. The next video will involve applications. Hope you found the video useful. Thank you.